Hello gamers, I'm MegaRaptor18. I'm making another video about Call of Duty. I might split this up into several smaller videos or just have one giant video because I'm going to be jumping around to different topics. So we'll find out, we'll find out. I'm going to be discussing Black Ops 3 and the lessons they should learn. Treyarch and Infinity Ward. I want to say Sledgehammer, but I'm done with Sledgehammer. One and done with them. And it's pretty much all the mistakes Sledgehammer made. Though, one can make the case that the mistakes they made was around when Modern Warfare 2 was there. By now, it's reached critical mass. I guess I'll start with that. The failure of Advanced Warfare, or should I call it Kangaroo Warfare? Which I always wondered, why did they give us a Panda XO when they should have gave us a Kangaroo XO, since those sons of bitches jump around all over the place. And that's pretty much a universal consensus right now, Reaper moment, that everyone hates the XOs. They don't want XOs. Let's hope this is the end of the XO craze. Nobody likes them. I've rarely seen anyone who likes it. And, well, when you think Ghost was the low point of the series, Kangaroo Warfare is going to be right next to it. And yes, that's why I'm calling Advanced Warfare, because it's not advanced. The concept, the fighting style is equal to that of a kangaroo, jumping around like an idiot, hoping you hit something or not get hit yourself. And that's why I don't get in games. When you're being fired upon, they encourage jumping instead of taking cover. So I'm thinking, why not just have the mechanics, a new mechanic where you can move faster on the ground when you're in prone. You don't have to be like a straight as a log the entire time. I mean, you see some of these Spetsnaz guys and their demonstrations, and as a show, maybe, but at the same time, it is impressive how they can move around on the ground and use their weapons not as well as they can in any other posture, but at least they can use that weapon. So maybe more flexibility and movement in prone, and get rid of this jumping mechanic. Now, the next game, Black Ops 3, is going to have cybernetics, or at least they're hinting cybernetics. Can the jumping aspect just be single player only if there's going to be jumping? Can we have normal movements? Maybe even some like newer movements, prone wise, in the multiplayer? I mean, I'm not really asking for much. I'm just asking for something innovative, not a gimmick. I mean, I was actually looking through the comments in the Call of Duty reveal trailer, and everyone kept mentioning the gimmicks that were in Ghost, that was in Advanced Warfare, and these fools, I'm sorry, I have to call them fools, are saying that these are innovations, these are originality. No, they're not. They are gimmicks, falsely idiotic gimmicks. And I slurred my words, and I don't care. I'm frustrated about this. If you want true innovation in Black Ops 3, then have modular combat rifle systems. That alone would change the entire dynamic of the series for the better, and that would be real innovation, not just gimmicky crap that we've been getting for so long. Though I would have to give Treyarch credit, at least they gave a more realistic depiction, Reaper moment, of the future than Sledgehammer gave us. I mean, let's be honest, Sledgehammer went so over the top sci-fi with it, it became a science fantasy. Infantry wearing exos, I don't really see that, at least in the way that was interpreted in Advanced Warfare. I don't see that happening. But I do see ground forces similar to what we're seeing in Black Ops 2. I see that. Special operators, even standard infantry, working hand in hand with drone technology. I see that. That's more believable than exos that can propel a human being 30 feet into the air. But I want to talk about Sledgehammer screw-ups. Probably in the second video. Because this one I want to dedicate at least the first half or the first video. Haven't decided to have this 2 parts or one singular part. I'm going to try to get it 2 parts. Very short, knock it out of the way. So this part is dedicated solely to Black Ops 3. And with cybernetics, rumored cybernetics, going into Black Ops 3, then you really need to not have the boost jump. I know this sounds like I'm repeating myself, but it's how important it is. All you need to do is several things. Well, actually, just reform everything is what I would love. Have more fluid movement. Get rid of perk system, because perks are not needed. I can say this with a shadow of a doubt. Perks are not needed. Because I'm going to confess something about myself. I'm a completionist. So when I first saw the gold challenge was to get 200 kills without attachments and perks, which I hate, I did it. I do it for each weapon. So I have barely even touched the perks, and I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, perks are not needed at all. That is a hindrance. At least while I hate Modern Warfare 3, they got something right with weapon proficiencies, which was just the skill the soldier improved. There are more abilities your operator can do with more use of that weapon. They become more proficient with it. They can do more with it. That was a good thing. Perks, they're just becoming more moronic. They're serving zero purpose. Forgive me, I'm kind of dry mouth right now. So I would suggest, since you're going full cybernetic, instead of having boost jump, have all the perks automatic. You don't select them, they're just automatic to the character. They can have infinite sprint. They can reload fast. Because guess what? An unenhanced, non-cybernetic soldier can do that. They can fast reload. With training, they fast reload. They can reload on the run. They can shoot on the run. Not well, but they can still shoot on the run. They can at least run 10 feet in a full sprint without stopping. Honestly, you need to start adopting the sprint system from Far Cry. Even though you're slowing down, you're more sluggish, at least you're still moving, and that weapon is still up. So, let's get rid of this whole 10 feet and you're exhausted crap. Because sometimes I feel like my operative is a fat slug. I honestly do. I really do think that my operative is a fat slob. Because he can only run 10 feet and then he's tired. And they're not wearing full kits. You know, if he was wearing full kit, I can get that. But he's not wearing full kit. I mean, if you look at the character model, he's not carrying his weight in a pack. He barely has anything on. He just has his weapon and some body armor and some other stuff, but he doesn't have the full kit with him. So I don't see no reason why he'll tire out so easily. And now you add in cybernetics. It was kind of one of my complaints about exosuits. Why does the operative get tired in a full sprint when he has an exosuit on? Why would an operative get tired if he's using cybernetics? You could have the most fluid movements, but right now, this is probably because you're using a 2007 engine. But you're seeing the limitations of the movement. There was a time where Call of Duty had the most fluid movement out there in the world, on the world of gaming. No longer. It's very stagnant now. When Battlefield and Far Cry, even Killzone, have far more fluid movement than Call of Duty, that needs to be taken into consideration. Because you're no longer having that fluid movement. The floating gun mentality. Which pretty much is, you think, the characters act like they're just a floating gun. I guess for all intents and purposes, they are. But the movement is not that fluid. At least in the other games I've mentioned, you feel like an actual person moving. And you have more fluidity in your movements. Where's the fluidity in the past games? There's none. I'm not asking for wall jumping. I'm not asking Titanfall-like movement, jumping around. Because let's be honest, jumping around does not help. Not in a real world situation. Reaper moment. What I'm suggesting is have semi-realistic movement, ground-based movement. That's what I want. My favorite scene, well, not really a favorite scene, but in my favorite movie, We Were Soldiers. That scene where that lieutenant accidentally leads his men into an ambush. His platoon's cut off and surrounded. They all hit the deck, hit the ground, and stay as low as possible while AK rounds are swarming over their heads. What happened to the ones that got up? That actually got up from prone to try to get out of there? They got ripped to pieces. And honestly, I know that's based on a true story, but it's sort of like a modern day Call of Duty player. When they're getting shot at, instead of hitting the deck, get cover, they move up, they become a sitting duck. I hate using that movie as an example because that's inspired by real life events, and sadly men did that and got killed for it. But that's the only analogy, the only thing I could think of to showcase my point. You shouldn't be moving around like kangaroos. You shouldn't be jumping around. This isn't Halo. This isn't Destiny. This is Call of Duty. Though I'll go more into that in the next video. So, recap. Modular combat rifle system, which I dedicated an entire video to, which if you haven't watched, you should. Even maybe a faction-based customization, which I dedicated an entire video to as well. But that's kind of minor. What I back up. I'm getting ahead of myself. Calm down. Remove the perk system. They're more of a hindrance than a benefit. Because let's be honest, an operator should be able to do all that without issue. I do like wild cards. Mainly they have an extra kill streak. That's pretty good. Now that reminds me. Kill streaks. It is way too easy to get kill streaks in Advanced Warfare. That wouldn't be too much of a problem, but some of the kill streaks are kind of ridiculous. The assault drone, overpowered as hell. I mean, how does this football shaped? I guess I'll get into more detail on the second half or the second video. Still deciding. How can this football shaped drone hold a bunch of rockets and use them effectively? I mean, where do these rockets come from? Kinda makes you wonder. But I'll go into detail on that later. But yeah, you get chopper gunner without issue, which has become very OP. You have system hack, which has become a nuisance. Which I can understand EMP like weapon, like screwing up your electronics. I'm for that. But screwing up the screen where you can't see shit? Pardon my language, but you can't see shit? I'm sorry, I can't have that. We can't have that anymore. Oh, sentry guns have to go. They have become way too OP. Unless the EMP grenade is one of the first grenades, sentry guns have to go. They were tolerable when you can go up to them and hit them, melee them, and take them out. Black Ops 2, you started that trend of the overpowered sentry gun, but at least you had EMP grenades early on. Advanced Warfare, we didn't have that. We had EMP grenades near the end. Which means the sentry guns are overpowered as hell. So, Treyarch, if you're going to have sentry guns, either remove them entirely or tone them down. Tone them down to a more logical level. Where you can, if you get close to it, you should be able to take it out. Or if you can't get close to it, you still have the EMP grenade option. Next is carpet bombing. I use carpet bombing, but only because it's a substitute, because there's no airstrikes. I love Predator drones. I love that. But we need to bring back the classic airstrike from Call of Duty 4. Because that was awesome. That was amazing. So if we just bring back some of the old kill streaks, in fact, I'm more the type person, the only kill streaks I like are the ones that benefit the team, like relay tactical information. But if there's those who want to destroy stuff, bring back the helicopter, the attack choppers, or the attack VTOL. Just to have a drone, the AI handle it. Bring back, have a chopper gunner, but have that be a little bit more harder to attain. Have carpet bombing if you want that on there, but honestly, I'll be happy with a precision airstrike or mortars or artillery. I'll be happy with that. So there definitely needs to be some reform when it comes to kill streaks. They have been quite overpowered in the last few games, and of course, I'm gonna go ahead and mention this. In Ghost, the only reason they were a threat is because Infinity Ward decided in their infinite fucking wisdom, pardon my language, to not have anti-air weaponry. Which sucked. But I've said enough about kill streaks. Let me move on to the next topic. And the next topic is, well, trying to say this in the nicest terms, but I want my modern military shooter. I want a modern military shooter. That's what I should have said. I'm tired of the futuristic stuff. I got other games for that. I mean, people on Xbox, they got Titanfall. They want sci-fi. People on PlayStation, we have Killzone for sci-fi. We don't need Call of Duty turning into a sci-fi series. So I'm praying that Black Ops 3 is like the modern war... No, not the Modern Warfare. My brain's all scrambled. World at War. That Black Ops 3 would be the World at War of this arc. This whole gimmick. I should say, gimmick. I want this as World at War was the last World War II game in the series. I want Black Ops 3 to be the last of the futuristic elements of Call of Duty. I don't want a Ghost 2. I don't want a Advanced Warfare or Kangaroo Warfare 2. Alright, those two studios might as well scrap what they have and go back to Modern Warfare. So I'm hoping that this is the last. As Treyarch ended World War II for the series, may Treyarch end the sci-fi in this current run of games. Because it got tiring. It was great in Black Ops 2. Well, debatable, but I enjoyed it. It was a realistic depiction of the future, in my opinion. Had some over-the-top elements that made it goofy, but tolerable. But Advanced Warfare, what we had was and it wasn't sci-fi, it was science fantasy. And I'll probably end up going to the second part. I'm going to do a second video. I've decided it. I'm doing the second video right after I conclude this. And I want this to be the last. Now, if you're wondering what type of stories can we tell in the modern era, Freedom of Information Act. Just do that, find some real life events, and run with it. Have modular combat rifles in the future, allow the player to customize their rifle any way they desire, and just go with that. That's all you need to do, and guess what? It will be innovative. It will be true innovation. Treyarch has been known as the cleanup crew. Get rid of weapon variants. Get rid of the whole concept of dual-wielding SMGs, dual-wielding shotguns, like we saw in Modern Warfare 2, dual-wielding LMGs, double-barrel sniper rifles. I'll go into more detail on that in the next video. It's time for true innovation. After this message also goes to Infinity Ward. If you want a World War type scenario, then do it. Do World War. But have each of your companies, instead of doing like 3 separate wars, 3 separate timelines, do one timeline, and each studio focuses on a single front of that World War. Let's say Infinity War, they get to handle the European theater of that conflict. Treyarch, they get to handle the Asian and Pacific theater of that World War. And Sledgehammer, if we're going to keep them around, and the other sister studios that I can't remember off the top of my head, Raven Studios or Software, I can't remember, then have them work on like the Middle Eastern front. Instead of just doing 3 separate timelines, 3 separate over-the-top plots where the hero saves the world, just give us a war. One war. Redo the Third World War, and have each studio, instead of trying to change, trying to have their own separate world war, have one. And y'all just, each studio handles a front in that war. And you can do whatever you want with multiplayer, but single player wise, you handle a front in the conflict. Yo, you three, you story guys, get together and go. Make a massive world war. Same plot line. Doesn't have to be same plot line. It can be separate plot lines. That's why I'm suggesting different fronts. Like, Infinity War, they focus on the European theater. They focus on that theater of war. And they focus on their own set of characters who fight, who are only seen in that front of the war. That is what you need to do. And Treyarch, you let's say, I'm just giving out suggestions. I'll let you three studios pick out which front in the Great Third World War you want your studio to work on. Well, in this example, let's say Treyarch, it's Asia. Well, you pretty much focus. You have your own characters, your own scenario within that front of the war, and it all revolves around that war. And Sledgehammer or whatever studio you choose to replace them, because they, again, pardon my language, they fucked up so badly. Though, ironically, they did better in Infinity War, but while I'm hearing that the screw-ups in Infinity War are gone, so to speak. I'm not talking about the, like, Mark Rubin, I think his name was. I'm not real sure at right now. Infinity War is pretty much like a fart to me. I don't care. But this could be that chance to redeem themselves long last. Show the community that they don't need Western Impella. That's going to be hard to sell, but let's go with it. You have your own fronts in the war, like I said, and you just focus your entire plot around that front. None of this whole, all heroes in the war. No, they allow an operation to succeed. Or they win a great victory, but they're not exactly winning the war. Or they're helping to win a war. Just like in all the previous, before Modern Warfare, World War II games, well, based upon history, were about fronts in the war. That's what you need to do. Just do that formula again. Tell each individual game about a particular front in the war. Hell, my first Call of Duty game was Big Red 1, which followed the 1st Infantry Division from North Africa all the way to the Siegfried Line. And you just go with that. Just run with it, and it'll be awesome. You can save the series instead of having convoluted plots. Keep it simple, stupid. You can have like some big bad guy. You can have that, but have it within the context of fighting a front, like an enemy colonel or an enemy general, and your goal is to neutralize him or stop him or whatever on their particular fronts. That's what you need to do. Just get your studios together, get your writers together, make one great world war after Black Ops 3 is concluded. Just, y'all decide, okay, massive world war, who's fighting it, what are the fronts, and you divide it up between the three studios, and you allow the three studios to come up with their own little tweaks and improvements, so they can have their own set of weapons or whatnot. Well, it will kind of screw some ounce of continuity, but at least it'll give the studios some options, and none of this fancy gun crap we got in Advanced Warfare. So yeah, that's what I'm going to... Final recap before I end the video. Modular combat rifles. Possible faction-based customization for Black Ops 3. Remove the perk system. It's obsolete. Just have weapon proficiencies. Reap a moment. Like there was in Modern Warfare 3. Fix the kill streaks. And after Advanced Warfare, not Advanced Warfare, Kangaroo Warfare, after Black Ops 3, get your studios together. In fact, do it right now. The plot's already written, so for Black Ops 3, so don't have to worry about that. Just get your studio writers together, have them come together, all 3 studios, have them create a massive world war in the modern era, and just stick with that, and just have each studio deal with a front in that war. It's not that impossible, it's not that hard. Don't give me that excuse, oh, we can't really work together. That's bullshit. As a writer, I can tell you that's bullshit. Alright, you can crank up anything. And it doesn't have to be over the top. You don't have to like war ending type crap. In fact, actually, that's one of the reasons why I didn't like Modern Warfare 3, is because they had a war. You rescue the Russian president and the war ends. That was just, it was too clean. It was too clean of an end to a war. So you can redo it. And you can do it good. Just follow that, and you save the series. Now moving on to the next video. But until then, this is Mega Raptor 18, and I'm out.